So, good evening, everybody, and it is really, really lovely to see you all on our webinar. So, tonight we have a truly lovely lady joining us. All my guests are just lovely. It's just so, the Lovely People webinar is just so perfect for this because there just are so many. I don't think there is enough weeks left in my life to talk to all the lovely people that I know, but I'm thoroughly enjoying myself. So I have known Julie probably for about a year, I would say. Yeah. And she kind of turned up in my life, and we've had some amazing times together. We've had some beautiful conversations, and she truly is a lovely lady. So I would absolutely love to hear any of your kind of principles journey, anything about your principles journey. It would be really lovely to hear you share, where you were, what you saw, what happened. It would just be brilliant. So do you want to share with us, Julie?
Well, yes. Part of me is going, oh my God, no. And then a big part of me is going, this is what I've wanted to do for a long time. So here I am. I first came across the principles probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I was just finishing my EFT advanced practitioner course, and a couple of the people on that course had spent the weekend immersed in the 3 principles, and one lady in particular had really got the message. She came into the last day of the course and said, everything was fantastic, it was brilliant. I didn't realize I've been looking for all this stuff outside of myself all my life, and I've just realized it's all inside me. And I thought, well, that's lovely, because you could see she'd visibly changed. But despite her best efforts to explain, I just didn't get it. I didn't get it, and I thought, oh well, if it helps her, that's fine. But I'm going to be doing something really serious. I'm going to be an advanced practitioner in EFT. So I didn't want any truck with this. What I looked like is wishy-washy stuff. So it's all inside me. I thought it was just a bit wishy-washy. So I didn't really follow it up. I sort of did look around a bit, but I just didn't resonate with me at that time. And not long after that, it popped up again. And I'm sure Anne won't mind me mentioning it, Anne Ross. And I heard that she'd given up EFT and that she was getting into the 3 principles. So I stalked her on Facebook, as you do, and and I saw she was holding these weekends in Exeter, and I thought, I don't want to start trudging down to Exeter again. Honestly, the reasons that we don't end up doing stuff is just, they're so silly, aren't they? But I thought, I don't want to go trudging to Exeter again. And Rudy, she was doing stuff with Rudy. If I'd have known then what I know now, I would have been down there like a shot thinking, oh yeah, this is brilliant. But I didn't. And I even had a Skype session with Anne at one point, and I sort of got it. But she was talking about this happiness and essence that we are, and this connectedness to each other. And I thought, well, I'm doing all that already. I do Reiki. I've done the EFT, where we sort of talk to the subconscious, if you like, and doing the tapping on your acupressure points. I thought, oh yes, I'm doing this already, and it's far more sophisticated version than just doing this wishy-washy 3 principles thing. So, I left it alone again, and then I bought The Enlightened Gardener, and I think I'm the only person on the planet who read that book and still didn't get it. When I went to Viva, I spoke to Julian and I said, I'd read the book, and he said, how can you not get it from that book? It is so simple. And looking back now, I can see it was because my mind was so full of theoretical things. I'd done a degree in psychology, and I'd done EFT, and it was all about this connection, mind-body connection. It was all about theories, and if you do this, and this, then that, and that will happen. So I've lost my train of thought already. So anyway, that's right. I said to him, I just didn't get it. And he said, I can't understand it. You didn't get it. It's one of the most simplest books to thingy, and I thought, there's something wrong with me. I'm far too complicated. And then Deborah Simmons popped up on my on Facebook. I don't know how to this day I came across you, and I think it was you were doing talks in Westwood Ho. And I was a member of the Westwood Ho community, so it popped up that you were doing these talks, and I thought, well, I must get along to that one day, and I never did. And then you swapped to the library in Barnstaple, and at that time I was in a bit of a pickle mentally, and I went along, and it was just something you said, Deb, and it just went bing, and I thought, oh my God, yes, this is the answer, this is it, because I just felt so completely different to any other way that I'd felt with any of my treatments that I've been doing with Reiki, EFT. I'd done Psych-K, I'd done all sorts of different things, and I had all these tools in my box to make people better. But this, I knew there was something different. And don't ask me what I heard, I don't know, but I just knew it was an amazing thing. So I just kept coming to your conversations, and I kept coming, and I kept coming, and I didn't really get, I suppose I was getting insights, but I didn't really notice them until I started to realise that I was reacting differently to people and to situations, and things started to fall away, things that I really, really thought mattered. And when you said you were doing an immersion retreat, it was that word immersion. I thought, yeah, I want to be immersed in this. It was like, I want to just dip into the bath and get immersed, because I thought, this is going to be it. You know, when I go to that retreat, this is going to be it. I just knew it was the right thing to do, and that I would really, really get it. And I did. Those 4 days we spent down in South Devon were just absolutely amazing. And we know the story. I walked into that room on Friday night, and I saw all these different people, and I had all these judgments about them. And there was quite a diverse group of people there from all walks of life. And I just thought, I'm not going to get on with him, or don't think I'm going to get on with her, and oh, well, she looks all right, and all this sort of stuff. But by probably the Sunday morning, I looked around the room, and you'd been talking most of the morning, and I looked around and I thought, I love all these people, because I really saw what you were talking about, the truth of who we really are. And I really saw that in those people. And I just looked around and I thought, I love you all. There's nothing that you can say or do that would upset me anymore, because I know who you truly are, and that we were all the same. So to feel that oneness and that connectedness was absolutely amazing. It was just, well, life-changing, which I didn't think was possible. You know, just listening to you talking, it was just a conversation. You know, there was no method, there was no set steps what to do. It was just a question of sitting down, talking, and understanding that we are this creative essence. And one of the biggest things that I found was you talked about us being these spiritual beings, and I'd been trying to be spiritual for years. With my Reiki, I did the EFT first, and then with the Reiki, I found EFT very, very practical. I just wanted something a bit more spiritual, and I was attracted to doing Reiki. And and within that, you know, I'd been trying all this time to reach that point where I was spiritual. I did a lot of meditation. I did a lot of what we call high dimension stuff. And it says I'm unstable, so if I pop off, I'm sorry. And I felt that connectedness to people. I had felt that connectedness through the Reiki and the meditation that I'd done. But it was like, I used to go to meditation, feel the connectedness, come home, and it was like, boof, back to normal. There was no transference of that feeling to my everyday life. It was just like a clash. In fact, it probably felt like, I could go and be this really spiritual person and do my meditation and then come home and all these people were being normal, and I used to get quite angry. I don't know, it was nothing to do with them, but you see, when you look at the principles and the understanding, and you said to me, you don't have to be spiritual. We're already spiritual, and that just sort of went boom with me. I thought, yeah, I've always been spiritual. That is exactly what we are. So it was it was more than an eye-opener. As I said, it changed my life. So that was me and my story of coming to the 3 principles.
It was just obviously I was a part of your journey, very much a part of your journey, and I have to say it was just beautiful watching you and watching your face change as you had these oh my goodness and duh moments that it's you're such a beautiful person. You're so jolly,
Oh,
you're so happy, and and you're always happy to laugh at yourself as well, in a good way. When we.
I am now, yes, absolutely. One of the things I used to say, I'd been on retreats and we done vision boards and stuff like that, and what do you want to happen in the next 12 months? And my biggest one stuck in the middle of my vision board was feel joy. I'd spent so many years being. People say I've got a good sense of humour, but outwardly I looked like I'd got a good sense of humour, but inside I wasn't happy. There was just something missing, and it was that feeling of complete joy. And so I put this on my vision board and I still couldn't get it. But since coming across the principles, I'm just joyous most of the time. Because just like everybody, I'm also human. So, I do have my days when the thinking crowds in on me, and I, as you know, and at first I used to think, I've got to do something. I've got to do something to stop this thinking. Just not stop the thinking, but to sort of, there was something I had to do so that I didn't feel rubbish. Mm. And then when I used to hear some people say that actually it's okay to feel rubbish and to just sit with that, and I thought, no, it's not. You've got to do something. That's just a silly thing to say. I couldn't really get that at first. It's okay to sit with these horrible feelings, and it's fine. You're still okay. And then I don't know at what point it's usually when I'm in bed and I wake up and I think, oh, I've got it now. No matter what, I'm always okay. And that was one of the reasons why I came to your talks, is because I was in a bit of a pickle mentally. There was a very close member of my family wasn't in a good place, and it was keeping me awake at night because I used to worry so about this person, about what they might do to themselves. And I was tired. I was absolutely tired. I'd spent my whole life trying to make things right for this person, and I hadn't got it right. So it was all my fault, because I hadn't done it right. I'd been trying to help, and nothing that I did worked. And as far as I was concerned, it was mostly my fault. And when I spoke to you and I realised that actually how resilient we are, and how no matter what is going on out there, we're always okay, even in situations like that. And when the penny dropped on that one, that was it. I slept well for the first time in years, never mind months or weeks. It was, so it was so good to feel that way, that no matter what, you're okay. And it's a big one, because it almost felt like if you think like that way, you don't care. Not it's because you don't care. But there's one thing I learned in Reiki, that is we all have our own journeys. We're all on our own separate journeys, and intellectually I knew that, and nothing can interfere with that in a way. We're all in charge. But when it comes down to someone really close to you, that went out the window. You know, it was down to me to sort it out, because I fix things. I'm a fixer. That's where I've been going wrong all my life. So yeah, so when it helped me realise the situation I was in with that person, it made a big difference to how I was, and consequently, that the ripple effect of that was it made a difference to that person without me having to do anything other than let that person be, and I didn't have to interfere. Yeah, so it made a big difference. I thought I'd gone then. You're all freezing up on me. Am I disappearing?
No, you've been.
Am I still here?
You're still, yeah, don't worry, you're still with us.
Yeah, you keep freezing.
Yeah, I haven't lost you for a long time, but I have noticed that your internet is a little bit, I mean, we haven't had great weather down here in Devon for a while, and I think it does interfere with our signals. But it's like thinking, it comes and goes a little bit, doesn't it? But you're still all there, even when
it comes and goes. Yeah, it comes and goes. Comes and goes.
And we're all perfectly all right, no matter what it's doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's really, really, really beautiful, and I'm sure, you know, people can relate to just how useful that is. I mean, I know I've been with people in my family, my children, and you know, my nieces and my other half. It's kind of like you always feel like you're the one, you know, if they feel upset or sad about anything, you take that responsibility on, and you kind of think, oh, I've got to do something to make everything right for these people and make everything right. And I think, yeah, it's so easy, isn't it, to put ourselves in that position and then run ourselves ragged, trying to make everything right for everybody else. And I think it is huge when we can see that we don't have to do that.
I know. Well, I spent most of my life thinking I fix everything. I think as a mum and as a woman, dare I say it, I'm not trying to be sexist, but as a woman, you get this idea that you've got to fix stuff for people, especially your children or even your parents or your brothers and sisters. That, you know, you're there you don't want to see them suffering, so you think you can go in and fix it. And I'd worked for a solicitor for 16 years, and I'd seen a lot of people that had gone through divorces, and you know, people who had lost their parents or brothers and sisters, and so we were doing their probate, and you know, and I thought, you know, I used to have to talk to them. I know I was only the solicitor's secretary, but I used to get quite involved with them. And I used to sort of try and think, well, if you did this and this, you'd be fine. And then I did the degree in psychology, and I thought, well, I know everything now. Now you've got a degree in psychology, you can just help everybody, you know. And that's always been at the bottom of what I do. Is my desire to help people, is my desire to, you know, make them better.
Yeah.
Bye.
Sorry, people. I just thought I'd shut the door because people came in. Sorry, it got a little bit loud. See, it's live. It's live. Real life happening as we speak.
It's not recorded, is it?
It's not recorded.
And I've always thought, well, you know, if you feel you can help people, you know, you should do that. And it wasn't actually until, you know, I was saying about my family member who was threatening to commit suicide, and and when I realised there's nothing that I can do about that, that it's, you know, it wasn't until then that I realised there's nothing you can fix in people, and you know, they're not actually broken. Things are what they are, And when you feel that and you get that insight into that, it's absolutely huge. It's enormous. And so I can look around at everybody now, and it's really interesting for me to see now that I don't have to wade in to anything that's going on around here with any of my family. I can stand back and I can observe. I observe what's going on. And I'm thinking, oh, they're just caught up in their thinking, you know. Except when it comes to my husband, possibly, the poor devil still gets I can still fix him sometimes. Most of the time, it's getting less and less now. It's getting less and less now. But yeah, when I first realised that actually we don't need each other to make each other happy was another big huge thing for me, because you know when we used to fall out, he used to say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't make you happy." And I used to say to him, "Well, it's not up to you to make me happy." But at the same time, I was thinking, "Oh, yes, it is." Actually. And if you loved me, you would do this. But so a lot of that has just fallen away, because it doesn't prove anything. You know, he's just being him and I'm just being me, and we know we love each other. And so that's made a big difference to our relationship now. I stopped nagging him as much. I still have my moments, but I don't nag him like I used to. I used to nag him to the ground, poor man. He's so forgiving. He's actually the three principles in action, because he, you know, his favourite saying is, "It is what it is." You know, he's a farmer, and he has to live with the elements and animals and the unpredictable. So he sort of spends his life having to fit in with what's going on around him and just accept things. And whereas I was completely different, you know, I wasn't accepting of what was going on, because if anything went wrong, yeah, but if you'd have done so and so and so and so, it wouldn't have happened. You know, so there's always lots of those conversations going on. Oh dear, but yeah.
It is amazing, isn't it? Because like you say, with a farmer, I mean, a farmer would never think, oh, I can make the sunshine, or I can make the rain stop, or I can, you know, make the weather be what. They might get a little frustrated that the weather wasn't doing what they want, but they would never kind of look at it as an option that they could make the weather do something different. And I think that's, you know, it's almost like a realization of that, really, isn't it? Because if your husband just decided that, right, every day the weather's got to do what he wants it to do, so he's going to spend all his time, you know, forcing the sun to be where he wants it to be, to do what it, you know, he needs rain when he needs rain, he would just exhaust himself and be doing something pointless.
Well, exactly. That's why, you know, he's such a brilliant example, really, because you know, we wouldn't do that in any other situation. And yet that's what we believe. We believe that we can fix stuff and make things happen if we do something, and we just can't. We just don't.
I think it is truly seeing, like you say, with the weather, we wouldn't even think about attempting to change that. We kind of just know. So then we would go straight to, so given that this is the weather, what can we do then?
What can we do? Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, this understanding is kind of like that, really, isn't it? Given that this is what it is, and then when we're sort of, when we begin to understand how thought works, when we begin to understand that we are all these principles in action, when we stop trying to control stuff that we just have no business trying to control.
Yeah.
Like the weather, like you said, you know, with your family member, I know how much you love this person, and none of what you're saying is about, I just realised that I don't have to care. I just realised that I don't have to. It's a deep realisation that, like the weather, you know, you could kill yourself trying to make it stop raining or make it start raining or whatever, and you're just not going to get anywhere. And yet, if you look at what weather we've got and see the beauty in the weather that is there.
which is what I see now. You know, a completely different perspective on life, completely. such a short space of time, really. I've just found, that my understanding has deepened, and sometimes I'll get it and I think, yeah, but you just can't explain it. And yeah, I finished now.
Yeah.
Can I go home now?
I know one of the things that you had a lot of thinking about was coming here tonight and speaking to me. So I am. Some of the things that you've said have just been really, really beautiful. And I think, like you say, you've been around this kind of barely a year, and to speak to us and to share what you've seen and share about your family and share about stuff. I really, really deeply appreciate you doing that. And I do think so, the things I have watched you change. I have seen your face become lighter. I've seen you shine. I've seen how what this has done. It's like lit something up inside you, and you truly are a really, really lovely lady. And I know how deeply you care about these people. I know. So
I know.
We sort of put you on the spot really here, didn't we, Ty? But I think that sometimes it's really, really useful to hear this from a perspective of somebody who hasn't been around this that long. You haven't kind of, you're not talking necessarily principles language or doing this, but it's just good to hear, do you know what? This makes a difference
to
in
everybody.
my life, in places that it's important to me.
Even little old me. As I remember, I forget which one. I think it was you that asked me if I would like to do the webinar, and I thought, what, me? Because you do have some lovely, lovely people lined up for us, and you've already had some lovely people, and they're all people who have been around the principles for a while, and they've done lots of stuff, and and I've really, really enjoyed that. And then you said, would you like to do it on the 23rd or whatever date it is? And I thought, my first thought was, no, why? I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough for that. I haven't got enough confidence. I wouldn't know what to say. I can't talk for an hour, which is proving quite true. Anyway, I didn't think I'd be able to do it. And then I thought, no, and I'll be honest, quite honest with you. Then I thought, oh, I know what it is. They can't get anybody else. So it's going to have to be me. So my first instinct was to say no. I'm just not ready for this. And the first response I got was, oh, that's fine. Okay. That's okay. Don't worry. No pressure. Don't worry if you don't want to do it. There's no pressure. And I thought, it wasn't quite the response I was expecting, actually. I thought, I'd have said, oh, come on, you can do it, blah, blah, blah. And so I went away and thought about it and realised that I'd actually, one of the first things that I got from your talks was, my God, I want to be doing what Deb's doing. I want to do this. This is something I can really share from my heart and make a real difference. So I'd always had it in the back of my mind, oh, I'd love to do that. I'd love to share this. When I know enough, that's what I'm going to do. When I know enough about it.
When you're good enough, yeah.
When I'm really, really, really good at it, and I can talk like everybody else can talk about it and use all the right words, and I'm pointing you in the direction of this and doing all this and doing that, I'll do it then. So I thought, well, that's probably a few years down the line. So it was come as a bit of a shock for you to ask me to do this now. So I thought, well, this is what I've been asking for, and this is an opportunity to do that. So I've been aware that in my life before there were opportunities that had popped up and I hadn't taken them, and I thought afterwards, I should have done that. And I thought, I wonder if this is one of those opportunities where I'm going to say, I should have done that. So I thought, oh, blow it, that's it. I know what I know. I know the difference that I feel in me. That's as much as I know. And if I can come and talk to you about that and somebody can hear that and it makes them go away and start looking at your videos, looking at books, looking at books, doing whatever and finding more out of the principles. If there's only one person that does that, then it's going to be worthwhile. So that's why I'm here tonight.
Well, this is
And sorry, one of the other things I thought about is if I was going out to teach somebody about the world, I don't have to know everything about the world to teach them, do I? You know, I thought, what a ridiculous thing to think that you know so much. You've got to know so much before you can teach anybody anything or show anybody anything. It just didn't make sense. So I thought I'd just show up and tell you what I know, what I think, how I feel. And that's all I can do. So.
And this is the thing, I think we're all in different places in our lives, aren't we? And you just never, you absolutely, I mean, last week we had the lovely Maureen with us, and I know, I mean, Gillian's here tonight, and I know Maureen shared something about when her and Gillian sat next to each other at a talk, and, you know, one of them heard something deeply and the other one didn't. And it's like, that is so true, I think, of these principles, which to me was why you were an absolutely perfect guest, because I have seen the insights that you've had light up your face. You know, we've had some beautiful conversations about, and a lot of the time people go, I don't even know how to tell you, but everything's just so different. And just, you know, sometimes that is enough to get somebody curious, you know. What happened to Julie? What happened to change her? You know, she was trying to be spiritual and she was trying to do this and then all of a sudden, you know, she's saying, you know, I don't have to fix people, I don't have to fix myself. And if it just piques somebody's curiosity, like you say, to look in this direction, and we just never know who is going to say the thing that is going to ping something, turn a light on inside of us. And it's like,
exactly. Yeah.
I know for me, I'm extremely passionate about trying to share this with as many people as possible because it changed my life so much.
Yeah.
And this is it, because when we begin to hear truth, when we begin to look towards truth, it changes things for us in our life at a personal level, the things that make sense to us. You know, I mean, you live on a farm and look after sheep, and you lost some sheep this morning. I know that. And you know, the principles, what you will see and what will happen for you is those things, the things, your little sheep and your little, you know, your beautiful new baby that just come into your family. Those kind of things, if there's difficulties around those, that's where your insights will help you.
It is in the everyday stuff that you do, you know, and your interactions with people, you know, because I live on a farm, you know, my husband's here. I don't see him necessarily all day long, but, you know, him and his son, Ben, work together, and they come in sometimes mornings, first thing, sometimes mornings and lunchtime, and they'll pop in again at night. So, you know, I'm with them and I'm around it and I'm hearing all the stories about what's going on. And, you know, and it comes in really, really handy now, not to get caught up in all that, you know, and to let them just, you know, let off steam about stuff, you know, because I know that they'll just, in the end, they'll just go off back out and get on with the job. Sometimes they just want to sell it all up, and, you know, and I used to get so caught up with those stories about, oh, you know, we can't do this because they're bringing in all these regulations about the chickens, and they bring in all these regulations about the sheep. I used to say, oh, we've got to do this. And we used to sit for hours in this office, writing emails to people, you know, having a go. And I know there's none of that now, because I don't buy into it. So nothing gets done, because it was always me that sort of said, well, come on, let's write to these people and tell them, you know, don't just sit there and take this. And so David would go, all right then. And we'd sit down and write letters, you know, to people about the new regulations that are coming in. And all it really did was made life more difficult. And at the end of the day, you didn't change anything. So I don't buy into the story of what's going on anymore in that respect. And it just makes life a lot easier. And I know I used to wake up, as I mentioned before, 4 o'clock in the morning is my time to wake up and lie there worrying and wondering how I can put the world right, my world and everybody else's world. And I remember the first time I woke up at 4 o'clock, and I'm unstable again. I woke up at 4 o'clock and I lay there thinking, oh, what can I worry about now? and yeah, it's like almost like my body was searching for something to have a worry about, and there wasn't anything there. Because they used to be, oh, what is so and so doing that's upsetting me? Oh, nothing actually. Oh, what's she doing that's upsetting me? Well, no, nothing actually. And it was like I had for the first time, nothing seemed to bother me, and that was amazing. It was absolutely fantastic because I just rolled over and went back to sleep. And that sounds so simple, but my goodness, the number of times I've had to get up, I got up at 4 o'clock, have a cup of tea, wander around, have a moan, write things down to get it off my chest, and go back to bed about 5:30, and and then got up a few hours later feeling a bit groggy. I just don't do that anymore. Well, I do sometimes, but generally speaking, I just don't do that. I just don't worry about stuff like I used to, just because there's no point. And I'm far more accepting of what what is, and that really frees up your mind. Really frees up your mind to the point where I started to notice that actually, because your mind is freer, you get more stuff done, and the day seems longer. Everybody's saying, "Oh, aren't the days? The days going quick," and they do, but the actual time itself just seemed to be more of it to do the stuff that I really wanted to do, and I was getting a lot more done. I am getting a lot more done when I want to in the daytime than ever I used to before, and I've just got a lot more zest for life. I just feel more zestful, But when I got to 60, I wanted to retire and get my bus pass. And although I was doing other stuff, it was just all sort of stuff I wasn't going to do much with. But I just wanted a sort of easy life, really. But now I feel like I can't wait to sort of do other things. So it's been really amazing.
Thank you, Julie. It's been really, really lovely just listening to you. It's been really,
good.
really nice. I've really enjoyed your stories and what you've shared. Shall we see if anyone has any questions at all? So if anyone wants to put their hand up or unmute themselves if they want to, if anyone would like to ask Julie anything about anything she shared, or make any comments, or share anything that they've seen, share anything from their lives or anything. Has anybody got a question? I can't see everybody all at the same time, so
no, I can't.
to make sure, I don't want to. There you go, Julie. You've quieted everybody's minds, I think.
As if I'm capable of doing that. Oh dear.
No, I think we've got a lot of we seem to, on these webinars, have a lot of people with nice quiet minds that just like to listen in and just hear,
absorb
and hear what's going on. And the thing that I find interesting, I know, like during the day-to-day, I've spoken to you a couple of times today, because I knew you were coming on and everything. And isn't it funny how, and earlier on when you were sharing, you were sort of saying, when we first asked you if you would be interested in doing this webinar, you were kind of like, oh, no, not until I'm good enough and things. It's just, it never ceases to amaze me how much our minds can play with us in those kind of ways, how our thinking can, do you want to tell us a little bit about how your thinking's been today, what it's been like for you today? Because this is the first time you've done anything like this, a webinar like this, isn't it?
Well, today I haven't felt nervous at all. I'm still not confident. I still think I'm not confident, which is, it's such a funny thing, because I'm thinking I'm not confident, and yet I don't feel not confident. It's really weird. And it wasn't till about well, I was actually talking to my friend, because I had a massage this afternoon, and I was talking to her about it, and suddenly I had butterflies. I thought, oh my God, I'm actually nervous now. I haven't felt nervous at all. So I'm not, am I not feeling confident? I'm feeling nervous. I can't do this. I can't do this. How do I go back and tell Deb I can't do it? And jokingly, Lucy said to me on a message, she said, well, I'm going to do this talk on Saturday. I'll do your talk tonight if you'll do mine on Saturday. And I almost said, yeah. And then I wouldn't have to go to Birmingham because something would happen and I wouldn't, so I would end up not having to do anything. And all this is going on, but all the while, all that was going on, deep down, I knew I would do this because I knew this was my opportunity to boost my confidence. And I'm sure after this, I shall feel more confident. Because I remember the first time I used to listen in on webinars and stuff. The camera on this laptop wasn't working, and I used to be so grateful that people couldn't even see me. And as for asking questions, there's no way I would have asked a question, because that just brings back memories of school when the teacher said, has anybody got any questions? And everybody had asked really sensible questions, and I only ever had a stupid question which I couldn't possibly ask because everybody would think I'm stupid. So, and I was still feeling that even when we were doing these webinars and I was listening to people, and I still thought I can't ask any questions because people will think I'm daft. I should know the answer. So I'm not going to ask a question I should know the answer to. And all this is going on in your head. It's ridiculous. Looking back now, it's ridiculous. So in such a short space of time, I've gone from not wanting to be seen and not wanting to be heard to, a few weeks later, here I am talking to you. And it's only because I know that deep down inside, no matter what happens, I'm okay. And it applies to something as simple as this. It applies to something as simple as to the major things that you perceive is happening in your life. That's the really lovely thing about the understanding, is it's so simple and yet so profound in so many ways. And I just love it, and I can't wait to share it with as many people as I can. When you look around and you see, and you sort of see people and you think, well, it's such a shame they feel that way, because if only they knew they have so much potential. Everybody has the potential to do anything they want. That's what I loved about it, this palace of possibilities that we've got, if once we stop thinking about our thinking. Just amazing. And that's what I want to get out there, see?
And it is amazing, isn't it, when we realise that, in spite, when our thinking is saying to us, well, you can't do a webinar, you can't get out there, you can't, you don't know enough, you're not good enough. And I think we think we're the only ones that have that kind of thinking.
Exactly.
We separate ourselves out and we kind of think, well, yeah, it's all right for you. You know this, you're good at this, whatever, your hair looks better than mine, or you're, like you say about being seen on camera. I mean, we have this thinking, don't we? That.
Yeah, absolutely. Whatever
part of us we think isn't right, or we're kind of, well, I'll do it when that's right. I'll do it when I know this. I'll do it when, all the planets are right and the weather's right and everything.
I even had thinking about the fact that I'm 62 this year, and so I even have thinking about that. I've got 62 years worth of rubbish to get rid of. So it's going to take me longer to get there, to get to this understanding, because I've got so much to let go of. And it's nothing to do with letting go of anything. Once you get the understanding, it just disappears. And the more you listen and the more you get it, the deeper it goes, the clearer you become, and it falls away quicker and quicker. And that's, I really see that. It's got nothing to do with my age.
And it is being that. It's got nothing to do with the time. It's got nothing to do with an age. Or
no.
You
No.
know, anybody can have an insight. I mean, even Sid, who first talked about these principles, you know, he had one insight that kind of was a huge insight that just sucks off, basically, you know, and it changed everything. And it is,
Yeah.
you know, of all of us, that's the amazing thing about this understanding. It's already there. This isn't something that you need to add to you. This isn't something you need, you know, there's nothing, you don't need anything more than you've already got. It's actually more of a kind of, what happens when we begin to see this is our thinking falls away and we see more of the truth of who we are. And it is this thinking that comes up into our mind that says, in some form or another, in some way, that you can't do that, you can't be there, you can't say this, you're not good enough, you're not right enough, whatever it is, you know. And our thinking, it seems to know, doesn't it, how to push our buttons when our thinking appears in our mind like that, and it doesn't.
Yeah, my first huge insight after your retreat was just thinking back. I'd been married for 20 years. My first marriage lasted about 20 years. And when it was over, it was over. And I was regretted all those years. I thought, oh, I used to beat myself up about, you know, the things that I did and why I stayed there for so long, and oh, what a waste of time it was, and all that sort of business used to go through my head. And when I had this huge insight after your retreat, I sent you that email. I woke up and I suddenly went, oh, that's what my life's been like. And I had my whole life flash before me, and I didn't die. That's my, you know, they say your life flashes before you, and then you put your clogs, and it did. And it was like, I just see now why I've been like the way I have, and what's happened, and why it's happened, and to put all that 20 years of what I thought was a waste of time to rest, and to let go of all the feelings around the reason why I stayed, the reason why we split up, and what had happened since, and stuff like that. When that all fell away, I couldn't even explain it. That's why I sent an email to you, and the next day when my husband woke up, I tried to explain how I was feeling about it, and I was going, it's you know, I just know what it's all about now. I just know. And he's going, what? I said, life. I just know what it's all about now. I know why I'm here. He's going, oh, right, okay, that's good. What's for breakfast? It was a big eye opener, and to let go of all that baggage was just amazing. Well, I didn't let go; it just went. It just went.
This is the thing, isn't it? This is the beautiful thing about this understanding. Just, you know, we've had a right laugh tonight. I've really enjoyed. I love these webinars. I just love talking to people. You know me, I talk and talk and talk. I love being part of these conversations, and that's all it takes, to just have some fun and be in a great conversation, and then you just begin to have these insights. And insights can be the smallest of shifts or the biggest, and sometimes we're not even aware we've had an insight, but like you say, it's just we find ourselves just being kinder and softer and sweeter, and it's like, and sometimes that kindness is to ourselves, and sometimes that kindness is to other people, but it just stops. It's not something we do, but it just stops making sense to be so, I don't know,
caught up, being caught up in what's not the truth, and you know, and what I really like about it, and what I really saw today in something I read, that when you recognize that essence of someone in someone else, all you're seeing is that in you. And that is just it's such a brilliant thing, because you know, you can't, I believe I can't give any more love to someone than I do for myself. You know, if I feel that love and that compassion for someone, it's because I can feel that for me too. And it's, you know, and it just makes me so happy. It makes me feel so happy. And I've never had so much fun and felt so much joy as I have since I've got the understanding. And that's the truth of it. And that is the truth.
It is beautiful the way that it does kind of release like a childlike happiness and joy with the world. I see the same thing. You know, I just see, even now, like we're sat here talking like this, and my son's just come in and out. There would have been a time. It is in such ordinary things. There would have been a time I would have got off this webinar and gone and said, I had a word with you, and I said to you I was going to be on a webinar. I said to you, don't do this. You know, you should have. And it's just kind of seeing he's just doing what makes sense to him in Jamaica. And he is beautiful, beautiful young man. And I can just love him. And if there's something that I need to say to him, it will be said. It will say itself. And it's, you know, it just, you see the world through such different eyes. There's so much less correct people and controlling. You know, it's like, oh, I need to be in more control of this now, so these things don't happen. And it's like you can let go of that need for everything to be the way you think it should be. You know, you can see that your okayness, that the truth of who you are cannot be changed by the thinking that comes into your mind and says, well, you're not good enough because blah, 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 blah. You know, and it can't change the truth of who you are. It can't change this essence that you, and like you say, when you get together with some people and we all just point ourselves, like on this call tonight, we're all just looking towards the truth of who we are. And none of us, not one of us here, needs fixing. Nobody here is broken. Everybody here is only, you know, all of us have the capacity within us to feel that joy and that pleasure and that excitement in life and that potential. We're all just squashed full of this amazing potential.
Yes, absolutely, yeah. I love that word, potential. It says it all. It says it all. We have such potential. Even me.
Even you, Julie. Even you have huge potential. This is it. You know. We have about 5 minutes left. So if anybody does want to comment or ask a question or say anything, you know, we're getting quite near to the end of our time. So hang on.
We're enjoying the feeling.
Oh, thank you, Gavin. It is lovely when you get together just with lovely people. The feeling feeling comes from within you, and it is touching as we begin to look in the direction of these principles, look in the direction of truth. Do begin to touch that within ourselves. We can be so much more compassionate with the people around us, because we can see, you know, when we get caught up in our thinking, we do what we do, and we can look at other people and kind of understand, when their thinking's doing that and it looks real to them, that's what they're going to do.
We know that feeling,
Thank you, Juju. That was amazing.
That's all right.
Can you still do my talk on Saturday, please?
Yes, okay. Yes, I think I might start charging a fee, though. I think
that's
I need
fine.
to.
I'll pay it. I think you should.
I shall do a rerun of this and see how good I was, and if it's good enough, then I'll charge. Okay.
Yeah, you were definitely good enough. You'll be charging.
Good enough. Yeah. Well, I am what I am. I am what I am.
Practicing on the mentoring course, isn't it? I think.
Yeah. Bless you. Thank you.
Thank you, Julie. I really, really enjoyed listening to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Andrea. Thank you.
To me, you are perfectly ready for all this.
Yeah, totally.
Really, really lovely to hear. It's just so authentic. You're really speaking from your heart, and really felt that.
It's really natural, isn't it?
Yeah, no different to any of the other speakers that we've heard. Just brilliant, Julie.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Thank you, because that was one of the things I thought, well, I don't know any quotes. I can't quote people, so I've got a terrible memory anyway. So I can't quote things. I've not read that many books except for The Lightning Gardener, and I didn't even get that. So I thought, well, who am I to sort of say anything?
You didn't need any quotes. Didn't need any.
So thank you for that, Andrea. I appreciate that.
Who are you to hide this beautiful light that you've got inside you? Shine. It's lovely to see you smile, and it's lovely to see you shine, and it's been really, really lovely to hear some of your journey and some of the things that have happened to you. It's just been beautiful.
Thank you.
And I think that gives people hope. There's somebody on here who's having difficulty with another family member, who's having difficulty with their sheep. It gives everybody hope.
Especially the sheep, yes.
But we all have our own, that's, I can't stress enough, we all have our personal stuff, and it looks like we look at other people and think, well, it's all right for you. And what I have seen with this is that your insights, when you have them, are going to be things that are going to be really, really helpful and useful to you. And that's why it's really great to have different people share, because all the guests that we've had on, their lives have been, we've had extremely different, sports people, and Maureen last week who's been poorly, and all sorts of different things that people have had in their lives. And that's what I really love about pointing people in the direction of understanding the truth of who they are, because there is nothing that seeing this truth won't help you with. Nothing at all.
Absolutely. Yeah, it applies to absolutely everything in your life, any situation, and that's the beauty of it. So that's why I'll keep coming on a Thursday night, Deb. I'll be there.
Wonderful. Always lovely to see you. So has anyone got any last questions or comments or anything for Julie before we wrap it up tonight?
I was just going to remind who we've got on next week. Our lovely Gillian.
We have the lovely Gillian next week.
Oh yes, Gillian, yes.
Yes, Gillian.
I hope you're as good as Joe.
No pressure. Shaking in her shoes now. No pressure. She's watching more than crack it. So we're going to be here.
It'll be fine. It'll be what it is when it is.
Cool. I knew
it'll be brilliant.
Yeah, another truly, truly, truly lovely lady, Gillian. Yeah, she's going to be sharing with us next week. So it would be absolutely brilliant if you wanted to join us next week for that. I know there's a couple of you here who do live locally to me, but so tomorrow night we've been double booked at the library. So if anyone wants to come to my house, they are very, very welcome. And it seems that an awful lot of people have said they're quite interested in Zooming, because I do live a little bit out in the sticks. So if you want the Zoom link, you can actually can you use this link? I don't know.
No.
I'll try and send out a link anyway for the Zoom. I'll put it on Facebook. So if it's too far, thank you, Gavin. If it's too far for people to come to my house, we will be Zooming that meeting tomorrow. So even if you live miles away and you want to, I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to give it our best shot. See what happens.
Okay. That'd be great.
And then if not, and nothing else, we will be back here next week with the beautiful Gillian. And
yay!
Julie,
Brilliant.
Thank you for tonight, Julie. That was really lovely.
Well, thank you for asking me and putting your trust in me, Deb. Thank you.
It was cool. It was lovely. So I will unmute. I will unmute everybody. I think I've done that. So that